In episode 2, you get a backstory on John Kreese. Back in the 60s, he was working at a restaurant, looked at as a freak by his schoolmates because his mom committed suicide and people just didn't understand it at the time. A couple of jocks come in, start making fun of him, even bullying him. And Kreese puts up with it until he goes outside and sees that that same jock is putting his hands on his girlfriend. So Kreese sticks up for the girl, using karate to fight these dudes off. And in the process, stealing his girl. But Kreese ended up leaving the girl to go join the army. Present-day John Kreese is teaching the class of Cobra Kai, and he brings out a mouse. He has the class start giving names to the mouse, and Bert loves the mouse. But then John Kreese reveals his real motive. He wants Bert to feed the mouse to a snake he's brought, and Bert can't bring himself to do it. Kreese says, "That's okay, you don't have to. Who else here agrees with Bert?" And a few hands go up. And then he proceeds to kick all of them off the team, claiming that they're weak links. It's a bold move and one that Hawk can't shake. He walks in after class and talks to Kreese about it. He doesn't have a problem with the fact that he kicked Bert off the team. He has a problem with the fact that they've been bleeding students since the brawl. Is this the best time to start kicking people off? But Kreese makes the case that it's addition by subtraction, although he does admit with Miguel out, they need a champion. They need to find that person who can bring a title home. And Kreese thinks he has a good idea of who that could be. It's Tori. Tori was expelled from school and is currently working on her GED, but also she's currently working on working. She's working doubles because she's the main breadwinner in the house with her mom being sick. She's taking care of her brother, trying to get a degree, and also trying to pay rent, which is a big issue. Because her landlord is creepy as hell, willing to let the rent slide if he, gets some favors. Shouldn't really have to spell it out for you. So she needs to figure out how to make rent payment this month. And that's when she gets a knock on the door from Kreese, who wants to know if she's interested in coming back, but she's not really interested. She, just like Sam, blames herself for what happened, saying that karate is the reason for her current situation being what it is. She just has a lot on her plate at the moment, and she needs to make rent. All of her extra money is going to that. So Kreese said, all right, well, what if I waive the fee? And while she would definitely come back to the dojo, she says, I gotta make rent payment or else. Although she catches herself. And it becomes obvious to Kreese that the or else has to do with the landlord. So once Tori goes back inside, Kreese pays him a visit and has a, quote, conversation John Kreese style with the guy and squares it all out. And the next day at the lesson, while Kreese is giving an enthralling speech on losing weak links, Tori returns to the dojo. Now, over with Johnny and Daniel, Daniel thinks he has a lead on where Robbie might be, and that lead is Shannon. They go to visit Shannon in her rehab facility, which, by the way, is a gorgeous rehab facility, and she's a little shocked to see Johnny there. And it doesn't take long for Johnny and her to start squabbling, and Daniel has to remind the two of why they're there. Shannon does say anytime Robbie was in trouble, his two friends, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, weren't far behind, so go find them. So Daniel and Johnny head to the jail that they're located in. And Johnny's forced to rough these guys up a bit to get some information, but eventually they do reveal that they would go scam people at a local tech store, and Robbie knew his way around that place pretty well, so go check out there. While they're driving over there, though, they stop to get gas, and Daniel gets word from Amanda that Miguel is out of his coma, which is great news. But then while they're filling up, they see the conversion van that's missing. Only Robbie isn't behind the wheel, it's some other guy. And when they go chasing after this guy, he gets in his car and speeds off, which leads to a high-speed chase. Eventually, the guy ends up pulling up into a garage and fleeing into that. And Johnny isn't about to let this guy just get away, so he follows him into the garage. And Daniel reluctantly follows Johnny. Once they get in, Daniel says, look, we don't have to do this. I don't like the look of this place. Let's just call the cops. But when he goes to leave, the mechanics in this chop shop have overheard that comment, and they're not ready to let Daniel just walk out of there. Now, Daniel's trying to talk his way out of it, but Johnny can see the writing on the wall, so he decides to strike first and throw the first punch. And him and Daniel end up forming a pretty formidable team to take all of these guys out, leaving the guy who was driving the conversion van to answer Johnny's questions, although Johnny doesn't like the answers he's getting. The problem is Johnny is so emotional at the moment that he can't accept this guy's answers for being real, demanding to know where Robbie is, but the guy tells him, I don't know where he is, I stole it from them this morning. It takes Daniel to actually pull Johnny off of him because Daniel's worried that Johnny's going to kill this guy. And emotions, once again, are running super high, and Daniel and Johnny get into it a little bit. With finally Daniel saying, you know what, I knew this was a bad idea. I'm out of here. And as he's leaving, Johnny reminds Daniel, hey man, you're the one who asked me to come. So Daniel gets in his fancy car, Johnny gets in his conversion van, and the two go their separate ways. And Johnny heads to the hospital to see Miguel. It's the first time the two have talked, and there's a lot of emotions going on. Miguel tells Johnny that the doctors fear that Miguel is never going to walk again. But then he addresses the elephant in the room, telling Johnny, I did everything you said. I showed mercy, and look where it got me. He yells at Johnny to get out, kicking him out of the hospital. And while Johnny was getting kicked out, Daniel got a call from Shannon because Robbie showed up at the rehab facility. And Shannon's worried for Robbie because he's sounding like he's going to skip town. So Daniel sits down with him and apologizes for the way that he left things the last time they talked back in Johnny's apartment. He tells him, people make mistakes and I can help you. Everyone deserves a second chance. But as he's about to ask Robbie to turn himself in, the cops that Daniel called end up showing up maybe 3 minutes too early. And Robbie feels like he's blindsided by this. The cops end up arresting Robbie as Daniel is pleading with him to turn himself in because he'll get a lighter sentence, promising that he'll visit Robbie, but Robbie, feeling betrayed, looks at him and says, don't even bother. Thank you so much for watching this recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Like the video if you liked it. Hit thumbs down if you thought it sucked. If you don't see the next video up in the end screen, don't worry, it'll be up soon. And please be nice in the comments section. Nobody likes being told they suck, even if it's true. Oh, and sharing's caring.